What's going on, guys? We're back at it again today for another video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This time around, we're going to be talking about some of the biggest beginner mistakes new car enthusiasts make. Before we get started, if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Got a great library of automotive content. Your support is much appreciated. So let's say you're just getting started on your very first journey as a car enthusiast. You're looking at a particular vehicle to then potentially modify. One of the biggest issues I see a lot of times is guys are not doing a PPI before they buy the car. For those of you that don't know what PPI, it stands for a pre-purchase inspection. This is going to be where you make an arrangement with the potential seller of the car that you're looking at. You're going to get it into the hands of a trustworthy shop. You're going to do a comprehensive assessment as far as the condition of the car. You're going to be looking everything over, determine if there are any issues or potential repairs that need to be made to get the car back up to standard. See a lot of times with the younger guys, man, they'll just take the seller's word for it. They'll see a listing. They'll think, you know what, it's got X, Y, and Z on it. It's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and send it. And then obviously they're going to run into some problems and they realize that cars are going to get really expensive to fix. You're going to have a boatload of issues on your hand and probably a pretty hefty shop bill as well. So I would strongly recommend, if you're starting off, always do a PPI when buying a car. Okay, next on the list, guys, modifications before maintenance. I feel like this is one of the most devastating mistakes that people make. Everybody's always so quick to modify their car as soon as they take acquisition of that new project vehicle. And I know it's hard to contain our excitement sometimes, but you want to make sure that you're getting everything dialed in as far as all of your fluids, your brakes, your tires, any worn suspension components, right? There's all these different things. You want to make sure that you ensure the vehicle is running smoothly before you start throwing money at it and looking at making additional changes and modifications. So, you know what, man, if you're trying to get dirt nasty low, I get it. You want those wheels, you want that wrap, you want it to look sick for the boys. But unfortunately, it's not really going to do you a whole lot of good. If you spend the money on all that, then you realize shortly later that, ooh, got a valve cover gasket leak, or ooh, I'm seeping a little bit of coolant. You're dropping puddles on the ground. It's going to be a bad day. So I always recommend maintenance before modifications. All right, getting to the next point here, guys, and I see this so much, so often. Honestly, it could be a topic totally separate by itself, and that is buying performance parts from shady individuals on forums and Facebook groups or any other questionable location. I see it all the time. You'll see some guy, he's popping up. A lot of these spammy, drop shipping scammers. Constantly seeing a lot of these scammy guys just littering posts throughout all these different Facebook groups, offering competitive deals, pricing, this and that, working together packages. And, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I do have a background. I've worked in the automotive industry with distribution for buying, selling parts from business to consumer, as well as business to business on the wholesale end. And dude, it can really become a mess. I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't understand that are going on behind the scenes when you're looking at buying and selling parts. So, if you have a personal connection, if you have a trustworthy source, you know what, you go with whatever you feel best, follow your judgment, obviously. But dude, I see it all the time in it doesn't matter if it's B58, Audi 4.0T, the 5-cylinder stuff. I mean, literally every make and model of car, every particular circle of enthusiasts in all these different groups. You'll see these guys screenshot, dude got banned, posting chargebacks. I ordered a turbo kit 6 months ago. Where's the tracking? Where's this guy? Emailed him, called him, sent a text, and then they put the dude on blast and he's getting roasted in the comments. Dude, see it all the time. So I highly encourage you guys, just because some dude pops up out of nowhere, he seems like he's offering competitive prices, do your research, man. I recommend exercise extreme caution with these pop-up guys in these Facebook groups. So make sure if you're gonna buy some high-end performance parts with your hard-earned money that you get them from a reputable source. Moving on to my next point here, guys, another big mistake I see is a lot of times people, they fail to do the research when making their purchase or modification decision. A lot of people make incorrect assumptions that because there's a similar model within that same line or brand of car that everything is going to directly transfer over. That's not always the case. For example, my RS3 behind me, just because I used to have a heavily modified Audi A3, I'm not going to just assume that a lot of those parts are going to directly swap on over to the RS3. Like for example, I had like a really nice carbon fiber battery cover. Well, that'd be pretty cool to swap over, except that if you do the research and you figure things out, you'll quickly find that the RS3 has the battery in the trunk of the car, whereas the A3 has the battery in your engine bay. So obviously that's not going to work. So just because the model shares a lot of the same components, it does not always mean that things are going to directly transfer over. So always do your research and never make those incorrect assumptions. Moving on to extended warranties. Guys, I see this all the time. A lot of people, they come out very disappointed. They put a lot of stock into these third-party extended warranties. Look, I know people are gonna have a differing opinion. Some of you guys are probably gonna try to fight me in the comment section. That's fine, I'm not gonna argue with you, but time and time again, I've seen it, from a service advisor standpoint where people are sold these cars by these dealers and there's heavy pressure, there's a lot of incentive on the line, monetary interest from the finance guys in the dealership, and they're putting a lot of pressure on selling these extended warranties, and they're oftentimes sold as a golden ticket magic bullet, right? It's always proposed that, if you have this one, man, X, Y, and Z, anything breaks, you're protected, you're covered, this, that, and the third. Look, at the end of the day, these guys are here to make money, man. They're here to make money, right? They're selling these extended warranties. They're gonna pick up margin, right? They're gonna pick up their profits, and it's obviously gonna be with a very tremendous cost to the customer. So you gotta understand, read the fine print, make sure you have a comprehensive understanding of what's going to be covered, what's not. And I've dealt with this so many times, like having submit claims with third-party extended warranties, like as a service advisor. Dude, you could go through, you have the labor, you have the part number, you have a fault code, you have the description of it, you've got all the scans, you've got all the photos, you have all the documentation, and they'll still kick the can down the road. You're gonna be jumping through acrobatics, dealing with these nonsense phone trees. You're gonna waste your time as an advisor, you're gonna waste the customer's time, and they're gonna come back with, yeah, unfortunately, that's not something that's covered, that's normal wear. You know how many times I've heard that? It's just, I'm telling you guys, if you have some solution within the space of like extended warranties and it works for you, you know what? That's your money, it's your time. You're free to do as you please, obviously, but like, I'm telling you guys, I've just seen it so many times. These people, they just throw money in the trash on these extended warranties. And I think a lot of times too, people, they buy these cars with the intention to modify them. Perhaps the car that they're buying is already modified, but they think they're gonna fall back on this third-party extended warranty. And it's like, you guys gotta understand, like when you're submitting like a pretty major claim, like at a certain dollar amount, they're oftentimes going to send out someone to actually inspect, assess the condition of the car, and they're looking for modifications, right? They want that easy way out. Their goal is to take your money and not have to pay out a claim. So these are all things you have to keep in mind when you're looking at these extended warranty companies, because it's like, dude, throwing money at modifications, you're deviating further away from factory, and it's just like, dude, they're going to be looking for a reason to deny your claim. They're going to be looking for modifications. So these are all things you're going to need to bear in mind as a modification enthusiast. So that's pretty much going to wrap up my list for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to share your thoughts, comments, feedback in the comment section down below. Give the video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned. I've got a lot of things planned for the RS3. I'm waiting on parts right now, so there's going to be some more upgrades, more installations coming up very soon. Thank you guys as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an awesome day.